Good evening, and welcome to the Dreary Midnight Podcast. My name is Lisa, my pronouns are she, they.
My name is Celeste, my pronouns are she, her.
And tonight, we are talking about some more SCPs.
Ooh.
Let's get into it. Intro music.
Intro music.
Alright, so for those of y'all who have not heard our prior SCP episodes,
we have a few, so you should go check those out when you're done with this.
Yes. So this is part 3, I think. So Secure, Contain, Protect is what SCP stands for. And the SCP Foundation is a creepypasta universe in which there are things that are beyond the realm of usual mortal comprehension, and they are trying to scientifically study and classify all of them, because many times they will cause real physical harm.
There are different classes depending on the danger level.
Yes. So the 3 most common are Safe, Euclid, and Keter. Safe is safe, obviously. Euclid is that midpoint. Keter is not quite apocalyptic event, but has a capacity, if it's working with something else, to create a apocalyptic event.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. There are other classes, like there's a very rare one called Flouw, which is stronger than a Keter, but are aiding the SCP Foundation in preventing further apocalyptic events. So Keter class has to work with other Keters to create an apocalypse, but Flouw has capacity to create the apocalypse all on its own. It just chooses not to.
Good.
And there's a couple more classes in between, but those are the main ones.
You have an SCP in your home.
I completely forgot about that. So there's the ones that are safe are the full spectrum of safe, from just plain unobtrusive, turns out it's not a spooky thing at all, to potentially actively helpful. So SCP-999, which Celeste got me a plushie of, is called the Tickle Monster, and it's very, very friendly. Apparently it's meant, they're trying to test for if you can use its skin as an antidepressant, because everyone gets so much more cheerful.
I hope that when you hug yours, it
does
makes
help.
you more cheerful.
It does. But today we have Keter and Euclid.
Ooh,
and
so not friendly or soft.
Correct. And there's also a joke tier. And so we have we have Euclid and Keter, and one thing that's sort of adjacent. Congrats, we've found the SCP that freaks me out, and I won't read the full thing of it.
Oh, so really?
Yeah.
I'm
but
curious.
They circle, I think they all circle back to one another.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yes. So, first one, SCP-106, also known as the Old Man. Object class.
I don't like that. Off the bat, I don't like that.
Object class, Keter.
Oh, that's worse.
And there are a few revisions to their procedures.
Okay.
But the main page is revision 11-8. No physical interaction with SCP-106 is allowed at any time. All physical interaction must be approved by no less than a 2/3 vote from O5 Command. Any such interactions must be undertaken in AR2 maximum security sites after a general non-essential staff evacuation. All staff, research, security, class D, etc., are to remain at least 60 meters away from the containment cell at all times, except in the event of breach events. SCP-106 is to be contained in a sealed container comprised of lead-lined steel. The container will be sealed within 40 layers of identical material, each layer separated by no less than 36 centimeters of empty space. So a little over a foot. Support struts between layers are to be randomly spaced. Container is to remain suspended no less than 60 centimeters from any surface by ELO IID electromagnetic supports.
What the heck? is this thing?
Secondary containment area is to be comprised of 16 spherical cells, quote unquote, each filled with various fluids and a random assembly of surfaces and supports.
I don't like the word fluids.
Secondary containment is to be fitted with light systems capable of flooding the entire assembly with no less than 80,000 lumens of light instantly with no direct human involvement. Both containment areas are to remain under 24-hour surveillance. Any corrosion observed on any containment cell surfaces, staff members, or other site locations within 200 meters of SCP-106 are to be reported to site security immediately.
Oh.
Any objects or personnel lost to 106 are to be deemed missing or killed in action. No recovery attempts are to be made under any circumstances. Note, continued research and observation have shown that, when faced with highly complex or random assemblies of structures, 106 can be confused, quote unquote, showing a marked delay on entry and exit from said structure. 106 has also shown an aversion to direct sudden light. This is not manifested in any form of physical damage, but a rapid exit into the pocket dimension generated on solid surfaces. These observations, along with those of lead aversion and liquid confusion, have reduced the general escape instances by 43%. The primary cells have also been effective in recovery incidents requiring a protocol redacted. Observation is ongoing. So, this is the one that's called the Old Man.
Yeah.
What do you think its powers are?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of... It seems like a lot of work to keep it contained.
It is a keter.
Yeah. So I have to assume... Well, I don't know. Because there was that fly that one time that was just saying things to people. So I do not have any guesses. I would like to be told, though.
Okay. SCP-106 appears to be an elderly humanoid with a general appearance of advanced decomposition.
Oh.
This appearance may vary, but the rotting quality is observed in all forms. 106 is not exceptionally agile and will remain motionless for days at a time, waiting for prey. 106 is also capable of scaling any vertical surface and can remain suspended upside down indefinitely. When attacking, 106 will attempt to incapacitate prey by damaging major organs, muscle groups, or tendons, then pull disabled prey into its pocket dimension. 106 appears to prefer human prey items in a 10 to 25 years of age bracket.
Oh.
106 causes a corrosion effect in all solid matter it touches.
I don't like how they know that 10 years old is as low as it goes.
106 causes a corrosion effect in all solid matter it touches, engaging a physical breakdown in materials several seconds after contact. This is observed as rusting, rotting, and cracking of materials, and the creation of a black, mucus-like substance similar to the material coating 106. This effect is particularly detrimental to living tissues and is assumed to be a pre-digestion action.
Oh.
Corrosion continues for 6 hours after contact, after which the effect appears to burn out. 106 is capable of passing through solid matter, leaving behind a large patch of its corrosive mucus. 106 is able to vanish inside solid matter, entering what is assumed to be a form of pocket dimension. 106 is then able to exit this dimension from any point connected to the initial entry point. Examples: entering the inner wall of a room and exiting the outer wall, entering a wall and exiting from the ceiling. It is unknown if this is the point of origin of SCP-106 or a simple layer created by 106. Limited observation of this pocket dimension has shown it to be comprised mostly of halls and rooms with data expunged entry.
Okay.
This activity can continue for days, with some subjected individuals being released for the express purpose of hunting, recapture, data expunged.
I don't like data expunged.
Yeah, so...
That's creepy, dude.
Yeah. Addendum, due to the exceedingly difficult to contain nature of 106, it is to be reviewed every 3 months or during a post-breach incident. Physical restraints are impossible and direct physical damage appears to have no effect. Current SCP, as of date redacted, revolves around basic observation and immediate response. Previous, more proactive special containment procedures have been recalled due to the events of breaches blink, longer blink, slightly shorter blink, teeny tiny blink, and very long blink.
Oh, I want to know this information to keep me safe, but I don't want to know it because you can't unknow things.
Yes.
I got chills.
Yeah, so that is SCP-106.
That makes me deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah, same.
Oh.
And this next one is one of the more famous ones, I think.
Okay.
It's classified as a Euclid, so not as dangerous as 106, but...
That doesn't mean it's not dangerous.
Yeah. I don't know. The fact that this next one can speak English and have a stated purpose is making it a little bit creepier for me. So
you can't see my face, but I am looking
cringing
a little
so
horrified.
Much. Yes. So this next one is SCP-049, also known as the Plague Doctor.
That sounds dope.
Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-049 is contained within a standard secure humanoid containment cell in Research Sector 02 at Site-19. SCP-049 must be sedated before any attempts to transport it.
Ooh.
During transport, 049 must be secured within a Class 3 humanoid restriction harness, including a locking collar and extension restraints,
Sexy.
and monitored and monitored by no fewer than 2 armed guards.
Okay.
While 049 is generally cooperative with most Foundation personnel, outbursts or sudden changes in behavior are to be met with elevated force.
Ooh.
Under no circumstances should any personnel come into direct contact with 049 during these outbursts. In the event that 049 becomes aggressive, the application of lavender has been shown to produce a calming effect on the entity. Once calm, 049 generally becomes compliant and will return to containment with little resistance. In order to facilitate the ongoing containment of 049, the entity is to be provided with the corpse of a recently deceased animal, typically a bovine or other large mammal, once every 2 weeks for study. Corpses that become instances of SCP-049-2 are to be removed from SCP-049's containment cell and incinerated.
Okay.
049 is no longer permitted to interact with human subjects, and requests for human subjects are to be denied. Temporary Containment Procedure Update, see Addendum 049.3, per Containment Committee Order 049-S19.17.1.
Okay.
049 is no longer permitted to interact directly with any members of Foundation staff, nor is it to be provided with any additional corpses to be used in its surgeries. This order shall persist indefinitely until such time a consensus regarding the ongoing containment of 049 can be reached. So, given the procedures, what do you think it is?
So he basically uses corpses or whatever as like subjects for his own study or whatever?
Of a sort.
Okay. But he's not like eating them. He's
No.
just like...
What do you think he's studying?
Well, they're already dead. Let me see. I mean, I know it's called the Plague Doctor, so I feel like it's something to do with that.
Yeah. So, it's called the Pestilence, is what he's researching. But what is the pestilence? Only 49 knows. So, description.
He sounds like a hardworking man to me.
So, SCP-049 is a humanoid entity, roughly 1.9 meters in height, so a little under 6 foot, which bears the appearance of a medieval plague doctor.
Smash.
Okay, so come over this way. They have an x-ray of the facial structure.
Oh, shit. He literally looks like a bird.
Yeah, so if you know the Venetian plague masks with the long beak-like nose situation, which in medieval Venice was actually used to like have herbs and stuff try and filter out potential plague stuff from being breathed in, instead of it actually being a mask, it's like a regular human face, except the nose bone type situation goes all the way out.
But he also has a jaw and teeth, so how does that work?
That I don't know.
Creepy.
Yeah. So
still would.
All right. So I'm not going to inquire about the logistics, but okay.
It's a joke. I'm just joking.
Okay. While SCP-049 appears to be wearing the thick robes and the ceramic mask indicative of that profession of a plague doctor, the garments instead seem to have grown out of 049's body over time and are now nearly indistinguishable from whatever form is beneath them.
So they weren't always like that.
Correct.
Assumedly.
Presumably, yeah.
Presumably they were maybe more humanoid?
Yes.
Before?
Yeah.
Or like one of those things where it's like you become the monster because you keep on going deeper and deeper.
049 is capable of speech in a variety of languages,
though
tends to prefer English or medieval French. Footnote says the entity claims to have originated in 15th century France, though admits it is, quote, particularly well traveled. While SCP is generally cordial and cooperative with Foundation staff, it can become especially irritated or at times outright aggressive if it feels that it is in the presence of what it calls the pestilence. Although the exact nature of this pestilence is currently unknown to Foundation researchers, it does seem to be an issue of immense concern for 049. 049 will become hostile with individuals it sees as being affected by the pestilence, often having to be restrained should it encounter such. If left unchecked, 049 will generally attempt to kill any such individual. 049 is capable of causing all biological functions of an organism to cease through direct skin contact. How this occurs is currently unknown, and autopsies of 049's victims have invariably become inconclusive. 049 has expressed frustration or remorse after these killings, indicating that they have done little to kill the pestilence, though it will usually seek to perform a crude surgery on the corpse while using the implements contained within a black doctor's bag it carries on its person at all times. And another footnote, the space within this bag is seemingly anomalously large, as 049 has been observing pulling up objects larger than the bag itself from within it in order to operate on deceased subjects.
It's the hammer...
Bag of holding?
Yeah, bag of holding. But like... What's it called? It's not like something space. It's like what they use in Scott Pilgrim. Ramona Flowers just has the... It's like a bag of holding, but there's another word for it.
Yeah.
That I will find out
infinite
later.
Infinite space pocket dimension?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about pocket dimensions in this episode.
Yeah. While these surgeries are not always quote-unquote successful, they often result in the creation of instances of SCP-049-2.
Oh.
049-2 instances are reanimated corpses that have been operated on by 049.
Oh, no.
These instances do not seem to retain any of their prior memories or mental functions, having only the basic motor skills and response mechanisms. While these instances are generally inactive, moving very little and in a generally ambulatory fashion, they can become extremely aggressive if provoked or if directed to by 049.
Oh, so you can control them.
Yeah. 049-2 instances express active biological functions, though these are vastly different from currently understood human physiology. Despite these alterations, 049 often remarks that the subjects have been cured, quote-unquote. Addendum Point 1, Discovery. SCP-049 was discovered during the investigation of a series of unknown disappearances in the town of Montauban, apologies to the francophones, in southern France. During a raid on a local home, investigators found several instances of 049-2 as well as 049. While law enforcement personnel engaged the hostile 049-2 instances, 049 was noted as watching the engagement and taking notes in its journal.
Oh.
After all of the 49-2 instances were dispatched, 049 willingly entered Foundation custody.
He seems like a smart man.
Yes.
He's like, well, these people can probably give me resources. This is an interesting one. I really like this one.
Yeah, there's
so much lore behind it.
So there is a transcript of an interview with 049.
Ooh.
It is a very long interview.
Okay.
The point being is, like, in its own words, it's asked about the pestilence.
Oh, yes, that thing it's studying.
And Dr. Ham says, what do you mean the pestilence? And 049 says, the scourge, the great dying. Come now, you know, what do they call it? No matter. The pestilence, yes. It abounds outside these walls, you know. So many have succumbed, and many more will continue to, until such time as a perfect cure can be developed. Fortunately, I am very close. It is my duty in life to rid the world of it, you see. The cure to end all cures. And the doctor says...
He has noble cause.
And the doctor says, when you say the great dying, are you talking about the bubonic plague? 49 says, I don't know what that is.
He seems like a man displaced.
Yeah. Doctor says, well, right, well, the entities our agents encountered at that house, the ones that, yeah, 049-2. They were dead when you encountered them, yes? And you reanimated them? 049 says, in a manner of speaking. You see things too simply, Doctor. Expand your horizons, life and death, sickness and health. These are amateur terms for amateur physicians. There's only one ailment that exists to the world of men, and that is the pestilence, and nothing else. Make no mistake, they were very, very ill, all of them. The doctor says, you think that you cured those people?
Ooh.
049 says, indeed, my cure is most effective. And the doctor says, the things we recovered were not human. And 049 says, yes, well, it's not a perfect cure. And interviewers note, while SCP-049 is capable of communicating in a very human way, there is a strange sense of unease that one experiences in its presence. Make no mistake, there is something very uncanny about this entity indeed. Additionally, we have confiscated that pointed stick that 049 keeps waving around. Part of this was due to the standard confiscation protocols for the possessions of anomalies, and part because 049 really is a menace, swinging around like he does. The entity was displeased at first, but after we made some concessions in providing it with test subjects, which are admittedly more for the benefit of our own research, it warmed up to the idea. Eventually, the doctor that has done a lot of the observations turns into 49-2.
I really like 049.
I like this. This one's a little bit worrying, though. I don't know.
What? Also, I will say, I did look it up, and there is fan art of SCP-049.
Yes. I'm sure there is.
I'm not the only one who's like, plague doctor.
Yeah. Yeah. But, so the doctor that had done a lot of the...
zombies.
Yeah. So the doctor that had done a lot of the interviews and a lot of the research on it was named Dr. Ham. And April 16th, 2017... Dr. Ham entered the test chamber to conduct another routine interview, and the entity began to grow anxious and asked Dr. Ham if he was feeling well.
Uh-oh.
Following protocol, Dr. Ham reminded 049 that the interview was required, after which the entity became hostile and attacked him, killing him.
Ooh.
Due to a lapse in security protocol, and because Dr. Ham did not activate the in-chamber emergency system, Dr. Ham's corpse was not discovered until 3 hours later, by which point SCP-049 had converted it into an instance of 049-2.
Oh no!
And another doctor has to do the follow-up interview. Dr. Sherman.
I would not want to be him.
Yeah. But in that follow-up interview, 049 insists that he cured Dr. Ham.
I had a feeling it was going to be something like that.
Yeah.
So what the heck is the pestilence?
That
Has yet to be discovered?
Has yet to be fully determined. Like for many things, there's a wiki fandom on it, or fandom wiki on it, rather. A few theories on what the pestilence is. One is just death itself.
Oh.
Just regular death.
Yeah. That afflicts everybody at some point.
But specifically natural death instead of like sudden violent death.
Got it. So he's just speeding up the process at that point. And
then the other theory is the one that's freaked me out.
Oh, this is the one.
Yeah. SCP-2718, Object Class Damarung, a class specific to 2718 with no actual definition. And I'm going to read the laconic one because ya boy hates horror, is terrified of horror. I know that's the point, but this one
What do you mean you're terrified of? You started Dreary Midnight. What is wrong with you?
I ask myself that on a weekly basis.
To be fair, I don't like horror movies, but I think I just don't like the visuals.
So this one, 2718, is also just taps into like a very specific kind of thing that I'm terrified of.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of scared of death, specifically because I don't know what happens to consciousness, and that freaks me out, that like consciousness is gonna not be a thing anymore.
It's like a fear of the unknown, but it's like an inevitable unknown.
Yes. And not knowing and not being able to perceive what happens one way or the other because the consciousness isn't there. So,
well, if you believe in an afterlife, then consciousness is there.
Yeah. But
I think that's why people do it.
Yes. But the laconic, so when I say the laconic description, it's the like out of universe, friend to friend, we're talking about what it actually is.
Okay.
The laconic description of SCP-2718 is the fact that your mind or consciousness remains in your corpse after you die, causing you to feel your body decaying, being eaten, etc.
Ew, I never thought of that.
And you see why it hits on that very specific fear of mine.
I didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah. This does not stop when your body is destroyed. You're just in that indescribable agony on and on forever. The O5 Council finds this out after they resurrect O511, a member of the council, and he tells them what he experienced after death. The O5 Council is so incredibly terrified at this concept and its implications that they began planning to completely neutralize death. Other O5s realize that they can't live with the knowledge of such an indescribable horror and decide that SCP-2718 is to be completely expunged even from the Council's own memories. O511 decides that people have a right to know. O5-7 agrees, so 2 members of the O5 Council.
Yeah.
So they agree, they escape, and O5-7 records a log detailing all she knows about 2718, permanently locks the document from ever being deleted or the description from being edited. So there's a theory that this is the pestilence that the plague doctor is trying to suss out. Mm-hmm. And here comes the full circle. Okay. Here comes the full circle. O5-7 is killed. O5-11 willingly surrenders himself to 106 to live forever in the pocket dimension. He's all connected. So 2718 is, it's sort of the knowledge and consciousness. It's both the persistence of consciousness after death and the knowledge that your consciousness will persist after death. And that's what really, really freaks me out.
Like I said, hadn't even thought of that before. I don't think it's going to be a fear of mine just because it's hard for me to not believe in an afterlife.
Same.
Which is where the consciousness would go, in my opinion. I was raised with the idea that your body is just a body. And that you have a soul that goes to heaven.
Okay.
After you die or wherever.
Yeah.
But there will always now be a little thing in the back of my mind that's like, what if?
Yeah. So
I can feel myself decomposing.
Yeah, and that is what kind of unnerves me. Because part of the fear is the cessation of all consciousness, and another part of my fear is not ceasing consciousness, which is a different thing. That's also,
although if it's any comfort to you, if you're dead, if your body is no longer working, your nerves would no longer be working, so you wouldn't really feel pain. If anything, you'd just be bored. Really, really bored.
Yeah. I don't know how much that makes me feel better. I appreciate the effort, though.
Well, I don't know. I think this is why people have to believe in an afterlife, because there's just such a unknown after death that it's kind of hard to... You know what? Here's my deal. If I die before you, I'll come back as a ghost.
Okay.
And I'll let you know what the deal is.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry anymore.
Is this going to be some sort of Houdini type shit? Because Harry Houdini tried to do the same thing.
Oh, really? Did he succeed?
No.
Not that we know of.
Not that we know of. Because we don't know if time works differently in the afterlife or wherever your consciousness
maybe
goes.
He's going to pop up right now.
We just looked to the same corner of the room and no Harry Houdini.
Damn. That would have been so good for our podcast.
Though I will listen back to the recording and
see if he says, hey.
Yeah, see if something happens.
Afterlife.
That was another opportunity for Houdini to do the thing. Anyway, we're going to go out. Do we want to go out on a lighter note or just leave it with the impending fear of death?
I think ourselves and our audience, we should probably have a lighter note to end on.
So,
if you want to keep the fear of death, then stop listening now and go back to our outro. But if you want to, hear the lighter
skip ahead
one.
a few minutes. Yeah. So there is another thing or another classification. It's not in the main SCP write-ups. There's another class called the J class for joke class.
Like that dog.
Yeah, the dog meme. And so, or a joke.
I want you to know something about that dog meme.
Yeah.
My original plan, because I was gonna get you the plushie and the dog meme, but every time I tried to put that meme on a cup, it wouldn't let me. Like the
How
site.
dare they?
I know the site didn't work. Like it was just showing a blank image, even though it was the image that I had downloaded.
You're breaching containment procedures, Celeste.
Yeah, apparently. So I was like, maybe it's just not meant to be. Yeah. And
I appreciate the effort, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll get that mug eventually.
Yes. So knowing that the joke forum exists, this is SCP-420J.
We should have recorded this in April.
Yes, I didn't think of that. But for any of you who don't perpetually live on the internet,
or just out in society.
So
for those 420 of you who are in polite society.
Yeah. So to my mother, 420 is marijuana.
Aww, your mother's a gem.
My mother is great. Love you, Mom.
I really like your mom.
Yeah, you finally got to meet my mom a few days ago.
Yeah, and she's our biggest fan.
Yeah. Thanks, Ma. Anyway.
Thanks, Jim.
So, SCP-420J, object class awesome. Dr. M says, hey man, that's not a real class. You gotta make it safe or something. Dr. C says, oh yeah, you're right, man. It's totally safe. Object class, awesome is struck out. Totally safe. Special containment procedures. We keep it down in room blank in the basement of building blank at site blank. The password is blank. These are all like redacted things. I just don't want to say redacted a bunch.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man? You can't just tell everyone where we keep the blank, because then everyone's going to want to come and get some, says Dr. M. Hey, you can't say Dr. blank in the articles, man. Oh, blank, says Dr. C. Description.
M and C.
Yeah. Dr. M and Dr. C. So, description. Okay, so I got this stuff when we were down in Jamaica. Really strong stuff with lots of blue and red mixed in it. Good blank, man. Me and blank, we were smoking that stuff down there with blank and skinny blank. When blank says, he says to me, hey man, we should take this stuff back and send it through that machine things that changes everything and makes it better. Oh my God. And I said, that was an excellent idea. And so we did. Man, we tried it on very fine first, and whoa, we were laughing for weeks. Sucks what happened to redacted. Still funny as blank, though, says Dr. M. So we got this really great blank out of the machine, and me and Blank tried out, and we're like, whoa, this is some really excellent blank. But then we used it all up and didn't have anything left but the seeds, and we figured we couldn't just get rid of them. So we decided to plant them and grow them, and then Blank was like, hey man, what about that dirt that makes blank grow real fast? And I said that was an excellent idea. So we went and got some dirt and planted the seeds in it, and oh wow, man, that is some excellent blank. I really should have foreseen how many times I'd have to say blank at this one.
Oh my god.
One test they give it to, what is this? A Keter level lizard. The earth-destroying lizard we talked about in the last episode. So test 1 is we should give some of this to that big lizard thing. It'll totally mellow him. Yeah, man, but what if he gets the munchies?
Oh.
And the test 2 is, man, I gave some of this to Josie, and she chased her tail for like 2 hours. Josie is what they've called cat where only the front half exists.
Interesting.
Yeah. Note, animal testing of SCP-420J is no longer allowed.
Yeah.
Junior researcher Blank has been identified in security footage fleeing site Blank in a stolen maintenance vehicle with an SCP-420J affected canine. Further research pending. From Director Jones.
Give 420J to any animal, including SCP animals.
Yes. Upon discovery of this extremely unprofessional behavior, all remaining samples of SCP-420J have been confiscated. From Dr. Clef.
That's fair.
Yeah. Honorary mention for test 5. Hey man, what if we give some of this to that freaky statue thing? Why, man? He's like already stoned. The freaky statue thing in question is SCP-173, the original SCP, sometimes noted as ripping off the Weeping Angels from Dr. Who.
Yes.
Yeah. Addendum. So, there's the disciplinary review from Dr. Clef saying all SCP-420J has been confiscated. Addendum. From the cafeteria staff, can anyone tell me why Dr. Clef just walked in here demanding stir-fried noodles, pizza, corn chips, and a dark chocolate? He was smiling too. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
Addendum 2. Oh, Blank, man. He even took the stash of seeds in my Blank. From Dr. C. It's alright, man. I know a guy in Blank. From Dr. M. Addendum 3. Where could I score some of this Blank? From Dr. Fredericks.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And that is all I have for SCPs this time.
That is so stupid.
It is so stupid, but, you know, anything to alleviate the irrepressible thoughts of death. And, yeah, if you enjoyed and want to see the show keep going, support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/drearymidnights. Shout out to all our patrons. We currently have 3. Thank you to Jill, my mother, Brian, and Beth. So, shout out to y'all, you're all the best. If you want to follow us on the internet, we are currently at Dreary Midnight Pod on Instagram. And questions, comments, concerns, fears, hopes, dreams.
Would you smash
the Plague Doctor?
The Plague Doctor.
Absolutely not. Again, with the thoughts of death.
Maybe you could overcome that fear. Just by
yeah. That is a question for my therapist.
I need a different audience for this scenario.
Yes, that is more of a question for my therapist than it is for a horror figure, I think.
It's a type of horror.
Yeah, that's true. Questions, comments, concerns, fears, hopes, dreams, send us an email, drearymidnightpodcast@gmail.com. And with all that said, fight the irrepressible thoughts of death and safe travels home on this dreary midnight. Good night.
Good night.